Okay, September 18th, 2024. This 98 Jeep Grand Cherokee 5.9 limited edition. Before we do any more cranking on it, we finally got it cranked yesterday. It had run a couple of seconds and cut off. I'm going to go ahead and put plugs, rotary button distributor cap on it. I'm going to use anti-seize on the plug threads and dielectric on the caps or on the wires so that it won't get stuck again. And so we're going to go ahead and be doing that, replace them one at a time, then we'll replace that distributor cap and rotary button. This is the number 1 plug out of it. It's running rich. This is a RC12Y. This engine calls for an RCLY4, but it said that 12YC was a good alternative. So we're going to use the anti-seize and the dielectric grease on the new plugs. We have already gapped this one. The old plug there, it says for the 12YC or 12LC 40 thousandths of a gap. These normally gap at 35. We're going to gap them at 37, and so we have used this gapper to gap this one at 37. We're just going to put them in individually. We're going to gap them, put them in individually, then we're going to change the rotary button and distributor cap, and we'll see if we can crank it up. Shopcat has joined us. She's come up here to help. She's already inspected the Jeep to make sure there's nothing going on crazy with it. She's going to write up a report and send it to us. Well, we've just discovered a wasp nest in here. So I wonder they haven't gotten after us already, but it's been sort of cool. They've been sort of docile. But it's supposed to start warming up today, so let's go ahead and spray we're going to use brake clean. That should take care of them. We've just put the number 2 plug in. We've got 1, 3, 5, and 7. We just put number 2 in. We'll go ahead and get 4, 6, and 8. Then do the distributor cap and rotary button, and then we will see if it'll crank. It may be a good thing that we hadn't been able to get this thing cranked up and running long. There's a mouse nest down there, and a lot of this stuff is right up next to the exhaust manifold. We got to get that stuff out. That'll catch on fire. We got all the plugs in. We may have crossed 2 and 4 here, but if we do, it won't be any trouble to figure it out. We may run them down before we fire it up. Now we got to get that mouse nest out of there and change the rotary button distributor cap. Well, I guess we're going to get sidetracked here for a little bit. We're going to take that water reservoir out. We can't get to that nest as good as we need to. We remove that water reservoir, and that nest is right over there at the computer wiring harnesses. This thing has a multitude of electrical issues going on inside of the console and all the dash and everything in there. And mice may have chewed through some wire, and they're notorious for that. So let's get that water reservoir out of the way and see what we got to deal with. If we got some wires that need to be rewired or whatever, if we can see them, we'll do that, and maybe it'll correct a bunch of stuff. Hey, that may have been a mouse motel. Well, that is a big nest. Okay, nice cozy place for a little mouse. Mouse's family. Let's get all that mess out of there and see if it looks like there's any wiring chewed through or anything. We may go ahead and disconnect that computer, spray the connections, make sure they're okay with this electric cleaner we got, and that could hopefully solve some electrical problems on the inside. Okay, that looks a whole lot better. We sprayed that with electrical connector cleaner. not electric motor cleaner, electric connector cleaner. Now we're going to put this reservoir back on. Yeah, we covered up that throttle body because that mouse nest was blowing everywhere. So we'll put that back together. Now get back on our rotary button and distributor cap. Yes, and just look at here. Wouldn't it nice of Chrysler? They knew that you'd be working on these things. You know, it's got Chrysler on it, Chrysler Corporation. So they knew that you'd be working on these things. So they made you a very convenient little shelf to put stuff. You know, your nuts and bolts and your tools. Because they knew you'd be working on this thing all the time. It'd be nice if it was cut back a couple of inches. It'd be nice to get to that stuff a whole lot easier. But then, the further they can hang it out like that, the more it builds flat rate time, harder to get to, take longer to fix and repair.